Hello and welcome. You're watching Cricbuzz Live. India versus Pakistan, take two. Now, Pakistan won the toss today, put India in to bat first. At the end of India's 20 overs, they've managed 181 on the board at the loss of 7 wickets. Virat Kohli regaining that form, 60 of 44. Rohit Sharma gave India a brisk start, as did KL Rahul. For the bowlers, you can see that they had those wickets, Nawaz, Harsha Bhogle, all of them. But towards the end, those 8 runs that Ravi Bishnoi scored off the last 2 balls, I think he should find a gift shop that's open late at night in Dubai and get something for Fakhar Zaman. My name is Tanay Tiwari, with me Harsha Bhogle, Parthiv Patel. He should give him some, kuch to give dena chahiye.
It's moments like those that drag a side down. If Pakistan lose this game by 3 or 4 runs, they'll point to that. I mean, it should have been 1, not 8.
Yeah.
It should have been 1. The last one was a comedy. There's nothing worse for a fielder than to have people laugh at you.
Yeah.
So he will be very, very keen to come out and make up for those runs. If he's too eager and he gets out quickly, he'll get even worse.
Yeah.
But 180, I think, I haven't seen anything to suggest that 180 is not gettable. India will have to bowl well to defend 180. I thought most things went to plan, except you look there, one of Surya, Rishabh, Hardik, had to play another 10-15 balls because your finisher, Virat Kohli, is done really well to get 60 of 44. But those last 2 or 3 overs, you need the Pandya or the Surya or the DK kind of finisher.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, when you are set, you expect that to, get it to a different strike rate, which Virat Kohli always does it. But now you got to give credit the way Harsha Bhogle executed those Yorkers and the way they have bowled. So, to stop a batsman who is well set and someone who has a tendency of taking his strike rate 200. So more than that, I think you got to give credit the way Pakistani bowlers bowled and the way fielded, except those last 2 moments. Otherwise, I thought Pakistan was right on top with their bowling and fielding both.
If you look at the last 2 overs, they conceded 8 runs in the last 10 balls.
Wow.
Before the last 2 boundaries. They only conceded 8 in the last 10. That's outstanding death bowling. Naseem and Harsha Bhogle, each of them capable of bowling 150.
Yeah.
But look with 180, if you get off to a slow start, it very quickly becomes 10.2 and over.
Yeah.
That is what India need to do. Get it to 10, 11 and over very quickly.
Yeah, so 180 is a kind of score usually that, it's 9 and over, and that's what happens. No matter what, you have to bat well to get to 180. Sometimes if you're 140, 150, if one of the batsmen gets a 60, 65, you eventually is going to win game. But at 180, you'll have to, someone will have to either score 100 or you need a couple of or 3 batsmen to get a very good score.
Yeah, correct. So it's, you've seen Iron Man, that suit assembles every time he opens that brief.
I noticed how very quickly he's brought the generation thing. He didn't look at he's looking at me.
I've just
seen Iron Man.
So the Iron Man suit that assembles every time he opens that briefcase. With Virat Kohli, that suit is almost there now. You could see that he's getting the shots, he's getting those 2s as well. I think he ran, 8 2s today?
He's the best player of the 2 in the world.
Yeah, but towards the end, I think that acceleration that PP was alluding to earlier, that is perhaps the one last piece of that Iron Man suit that's still pending. Apart from that...
Look, he scored at 136. That means he's played a 160 game.
Yeah.
Now, if your top player is making 60 runs at a 160, in a 160 game, that's fine. If there's someone else taking you to a 190 kind of game, which almost happened today. So that's why I said Virat Kohli did almost everything right. This was the innings where he didn't look in trouble.
Yeah.
You see, the first game against Pakistan, he looked like he was struggling.
Yeah.
Today, he didn't look in any trouble at all. And I think that was also because of the start that India got, where India put Pakistan on the back foot very, very quickly. We talked about those 39 balls from KL Rahul.
Yeah.
This is the KL Rahul you want to see. It doesn't matter 29 of 18. It won't get you the orange cap, but gives your side a great start.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not against the orange cap, by the way.
Of course,
it's just that KL Rahul is capable of playing shots like these. I was actually quite happy with the start. Ideally, you want one of them to make 40, 45, 50. But still, it was if you're playing 7 batsmen, that's not a bad start at all.
Yeah, and either 1, 2 or 3, someone needs to bat till the end, and that's what happens. You get to 180, and that's what happens. You got a blazing start with KL and Rohit, and your number 3 batted till the end, almost till the end, and you got to 180 on a very good day where we've been talking about Virat Kohli, the batsman who's coming back into the form, and like today, he was completely in control. Otherwise, you can see it from his emotions itself. If ball is going where he's not trying to hit, and then you can see it from Virat's emotion. But today, he looked in complete control. Yes, acceleration will happen. Someone's not played game, someone's not got runs for a while, so it's not going to happen overnight. It's always a process. No matter how good a player you are, there's always a process to coming back into the form, and Virat Kohli is looking like a player which we all know.
So do you think He's listening to the inside voice, not the outside.
See, he's always been great about his batting, the way, the calculation and everything. There's a reason why we call him chase master, because he knows, he calculates, where there are twos. I mean, just to place the ball where he can run to is obviously an art. I mean, not everyone can do that. So he knows what he's doing, and that's what is happening.
I mean, he's when in form, he's one of the best middle overs players.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
At the end, as I said, you want those slightly inventive players who can maybe just produce a shot to fine leg, one hit over cover, play a scoop behind. So he did. I think you've got to say he did his job. I don't think you can ask more from Virat Kohli coming back. And there are some people who get motivated against certain teams. We always used to say Rahul Dravid was batting. Okay, whenever in trouble, bring England. Because Rahul Dravid always went to England and scored runs. I think Virat Kohli just gets something different when he's playing against Pakistan. Like Virender Sehwag in our Hindi studio. His record against Pakistan is something else.
Incredible.
I think Virat Kohli is that. But today I think we got signs that we are seeing Virat Kohli back.
Yeah, the return of Virat Kohli. That suit is assembling, and once it assembles completely, you will see that old Virat Kohli back. And he did his job today, as both Harsha and Parthiv said, that his job is perhaps a 60 or 44 job, and that's something that he did. India did miss their finishers because both Hardik Pandya and Rishabh Pant, two people who were capable of playing those shots towards the end, both got out to sort of, soft dismissals, PP.
I mean, that can happen. With Rishabh Pant, we're going to always find this. We'll always see the different ways of getting out and different ways of scoring runs, both. So, but at this point of time in T20 cricket, he needs to find that tempo, which he has already found in Test cricket and one-day cricket. But in T20 cricket, to be more consistent, he needs to find his tempo, which suits his game, and it doesn't put him under pressure. And when you're playing in middle overs, when you're playing so many dot balls, you have to go for big shots. And if it's not your day, you might just get out. So he has to find those tempo to start off his inning. Once he gets going, then it's a different Rishabh Pant. And Hardik, he played just two balls, and it can happen to any player. And
actually, if you see, that was the area he hit those 3 boundaries off. Yes, Haris Rauf. Because he's one of those very few players who the straight bat can hit boundaries in that area. So they plugged that gap today. But you see, even this one went off the bat really well. But as he says, when you're playing that position, you will not come off every day. So. No
Absolutely. Issue. The kind of performances they put in, you want them to come off every day as
हम लोग क्या कहते हैं शुरू से? I don't know. आप लोग जब खेलते थे ऐसे वीडियो से कि before the game starts, अगर आपसे कहें कि you'll make 180, would you be happy? Would you not be happy? Most days you'd be happy.
Most days, 100%. Most days you would be happy with 181, especially with one side short, one side big. You can play around with your bowlers. You have options of different kind of bowlers. So I think India should be happy with 181. But yeah, I mean, you'll have to bowl well, start well, and all of that. These are the normal cricketing terms which we talk about. Right? You have to start well, you have to bowl well, you have to field well, catch well. But 181 India.
I thought Pakistan spinners bowled really well today.
Oh, they did, yeah.
So it'll be interesting if India can get those spinners. India's only playing one spinner actually.
And Bishnoi.
Sorry, Bishnoi, of course. So it'll be interesting to see how Bishnoi bowls there, because even the spinners gave you 4 overs 30-32. Then you've done okay. Pakistan's spinners bowled 8 overs for 56.
56, yeah, exactly.
So if
maybe
you
there's a queue for the Indian spinners.
If you can bowl 8 overs for 55, 56, then actually you've done all right. So big test for Bishnoi. We are now getting into Pakistan's comfort area, which is chasing. But chasing 180 is very different from chasing 155, 160. And I'd like to see that injury to Rizwan. I hope it's not too bad from their point of view. But he was limping a little bit afterwards.
He was,
So it'll be interesting to see how they go about it. I won't be surprised if Fakhar Zaman. I've always believed that Fakhar Zaman should open the batting and Rizwan should bat at 3.
All right.
Not Babar. Babar bats at 3 might end up closing the game. But Fakhar has to open the batting.
But with Rizwan, that injury, Parthiv, if you could tell us a little more about it, because we saw he jumped and he came down on one knee. And ever since then, he wasn't squatting while keeping. He was limping for the most part. And a lot of his batting, especially initially, relies on that strike rotation. Now, that's going to be very difficult.
That injury looked bad. I mean, when you were jumping that much and all the weight which we saw came on only on one knee. So it looked difficult, and he could not squat after that. So that means it was limping and all of that. But yeah, it definitely, put his batting thought in trouble. Sometimes when he's thinking of scoring runs, he's someone like Virat Kohli, like a player who would run well, he would run 2s and 3s. Now he knows that he can't run that well, so he'll have to play big shots, he'll have to play a risk game, which he usually doesn't do, only accelerates in the death overs. So yeah, it'll definitely be interesting to see what kind of approach he comes in. Or maybe we might just see Fakhar Zaman, comes in and
it'll test the depth. It'll test Pakistan's batting depth, which exists, by the way.
Correct.
Because Shadab and Nawaz 7-8, it's a pretty deep batting side. But they don't bat that much. So it'll test people like Iftikhar and Khushdil Shah to see it's okay to hit 35-15 against Hong Kong because you had no choice. You had to go for it. But it'll test those. We've seen Asif Ali can do that, but he's not consistent. So it's going to test that 4, 5, 6. If you get a couple of wickets early, then it'll really test the depth in that side.
So and these are the games, I mean, and more often than not, I mean, you would definitely see that Pakistan qualifies for the finals. But these are the games under pressure, irrespective of not final first game, it is India-Pakistan game. So I'm sure Pakistan and India, both players are under pressure to perform. More than pressure, it's just eager to do well for their country, because, there's a chance to become a hero. And here, imagine this happens in a World Cup semi-final for Pakistan. So these are the games where you can test your players, and there is a great opportunity. If he's not fit, I think Asif Ali can hit, and Shadab can bat anywhere. So Shadab has batted number 3 in T20 and all.
Khushdil hit some big ones against Hong Kong.
Could be a great opportunity for Pakistan to be slightly brave and taking those chances.
Well, Rizwan has come out to bat. The first ball that he's faced off Bhuvneshwar, he's cut him for a 4. So they're chasing 182, and Rizwan has made his intentions very clear.
And when you're chasing 180, you don't want those couple of quiet overs, because we talked about how the required rate can quickly go to 10. So the thing to watch out for is whether they're staying with the required run rate.
Yeah.
Several times in chase, you need to stay with the required run rate, because if you keep wickets, then the asking rate gets too high sometimes. So can they stay with the required run rate?
All right, so 182 seems like that score. It's that kind of a score, that 4-letter word that starts with an S, ends with a Y, has a former in between. But it's also very close to the score predicted by Mr. Harsha Bhogle, the winner of our prediction contest. He said 178. Yeah, he said 178.
Thank you.
He said 178. You said 178, we'll get his trophy later. But you said 178, it was 182. So you go first then. Power play score. How many do Pakistan score?
47.
47. PPpedia.
47 for... Chodo, pucha nahi aapne. If it is 47 for 2, actually,
India will not mind. This is what happens when you're sitting with a scholar.
47 for 2, India will not mind, actually. 47 for no loss, India will be a little edgy, but 47 for 2, India won't mind.
Yeah, I'm going a little lower.
Okay.
43. Just 43? Because I'm supporting India.
Correct.
Unlike you, you're wearing green.
I'm not wearing green. I have to be neutral also. That's why I'm saying 39. Pakistan are going to score 39. What are your predictions? Let us know. #Cricbuzz Live. But that's all that we have time for right now. We'll see you, of course, at the end of 10 overs with Cricbuzz Combox, and then later with Cricbuzz Live. Thank you to Mr. Harsha Bhogle. Thank you, Mr. Parthiv Patel. Thank you to all of you as well. We'll see you all super soon.